Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this webinar by the New Nation Education Nonprofit Organization. This webinar series is really all about how to change the direction of South Africa. We are currently heading down a dangerous path, and we need to work together in order to make sure we don't follow the path that Zimbabwe went down. So our first webinar was last week, and it was really about helping small business owners and medium-sized business owners understand that we can help them to keep increasing their customer base and their profit margins. Because at the moment, small businesses and entrepreneurs are really struggling in South Africa. Their customer base keeps shrinking, which means they can't make enough money to survive. The more businesses that close, the less employment. And that brings us on to tonight's subject, which is employment and the lack thereof in South Africa. I'm Gunther Wallendorf from the New Nation Education Nonprofit Organization. Our purpose is to generate the sustainable funding for the more than 14 million school children in South Africa, while we reduce poverty and crime at the same time. And we do that by helping the community members. We uplift the community by providing sponsored training, skills development, business training, entrepreneurship training in the business of your choice. So we're not forcing you to do any particular business. We take you through the process of figuring out what type of business you would like to be in, and then we provide you with the right training. Obviously, there are a lot of general business training programs we offer, which everybody has to do. So tonight, our panel of guests, I believe we are having load shedding in a few places, and therefore some of our guests are not able to get on. But first, allow me to introduce them anyway. So if they come on later, you know who they are and what they're all about. So I'd like to introduce our wonderful Dr. Arthur Moore-Roberts first. Dr. Arthur Moore-Roberts, as the owner and co-founder of Celebrating Humanity International Pty Limited, Key Leadership Institute Pty Limited, Arthur Moore Pty Limited. She is also renowned as a universal keynote motivational speaker and international facilitator of exclusive leadership programs globally. As a diversity and inclusion specialist, she has helped to develop the Celebrating Humanity program, transformational team building, diversity training, leadership training, and team conflict resolution strategies across South Africa, Namibia, Swaziland, Zambia, London, UK, Ireland, USA, and Hong Kong. Arthur Moore-Roberts is a keynote speaker, facilitator, and trainer and consultant to the board of directors and management teams. She is a certified John Maxwell leadership coach, trainer, facilitator, speaker, and trained in Orlando, USA. She's a finalist in the Rising Star Awards, South Africa 2014, TWIF 2015, for professional services and entrepreneurship. She was a semi-finalist for the Women in Business Santam Awards. She was acknowledged by Mrs. Graça Michelle Mandela for the developments in leadership amongst women in South Africa. She's a former honorary board member of the Diversity Inclusion Online University of the United States of America, and the list goes on and on and on. I just can't go through it all. So I'm going to now introduce you to Mr. Jan Roberts, who has also got a resume that looks like a Bible. Mr. Jan Roberts is a co-founder of the Key Leadership Institute and the founder of JR Speaker Club, based in South Africa and Scotland. As an international Les Brown keynote speaker, he has already spoken on 4 continents among a variety of subjects, from personal development, bullying, human behavior, and living intentionally to leadership. As an executive director and President's Advisor Council member with the John Maxwell team, his focus is to change the impact the way we develop, and impact the way people are developed using world-class innovative methods that are proven internationally. He is also a globally acclaimed motivational keynote speaker, and as I said, has many, many more things on his resume. Then, of course, we have Mr. Andreas Jacobus Slemmer, who is currently retired, but has been employed for the last 3 years at Eskom Expo for Young Scientists as the provincial coordinator in the Eastern Cape. Andreas has 40 years experience in education. His experience in all learning areas and taught mainly maths and science. His 40 years included 8 years as a principal at the White River Primary School in Mpumalanga, 2 years as the principal in Law School Excelsior in Port Elizabeth, and 12 years as principal at Settlers Park Primary School, also in Port Elizabeth. Andreas holds a BA degree and a diploma in education with a major in botany and zoology. He has a B.Ed degree in biblical studies and continues to study. He has an ACE diploma in management, which he completed in 2019 at NMU. He followed a 2-year course in mentorship in the Northwest University during 2016. Andreas is passionate about nature conservation, and as an honorary ranger in the Kruger National Park, his love for science has led to the Settlers Science Expo, which he organized for 12 years. As an experienced expo judge at Eskom Expo for Young Scientists, he used his field experience and vast experience in his daily activities as a provincial coordinator in the province to assist learners with their projects. He has a great passion for leadership development and 21st century skill development. Andreas is also one of our directors at the New Nation Education nonprofit organization. And as tonight, this evening, we're talking really about employment and the lack of employment here in South Africa. It's a serious problem, just as small businesses are, because small businesses and medium-sized businesses are the employers of the future in South Africa. And if we don't look after them and they fall away, more and more people will become unemployed. The old ways of creating employment are no longer working. There will no longer be large corporations, factories opening to employ thousands of people. AI will have all these jobs. Even large corporations of bookkeepers and accountants will shift to AI. That means millions who thought they would not be replaced by AI will be replaced. We are finding this even in the law business, the business of lawyers and attorneys and things like that. They no longer need the interns, as the computer and AI can give them the answers they need within minutes. All employment of the future will be created by you and I, the entrepreneurs of the future. I see that we will be going back to self-employment, small business owners, and entrepreneurship within each community. create small islands of new economies. So you can contact us at any time, ask any questions to find out more about the New Nation Education Company or Celebrating Humanity or the Key Leadership Institute, because we are all connected. And you just Google us, we're there. Okay, so I would like to go on to a few things about unemployment and employment. You know, as I was saying, the old ways have gone. Most of us, older guys, grew up in what we call the industrial age. And we were taught at school to be trained and skilled, really, to go into a sort of a factory environment. And even if we weren't trained to go into a factory, we were trained to do things in a certain way, because that way, when a company employed you to do a certain task, there could be 100 or 1,000 people behind you that could do the same task. So when you left, they could employ somebody immediately. But from the employee's perspective, we always looked at it as, well, I'm going to go and work for a company for 40 years, then I'll retire and everything will be okie dokie. Not true. All of those things were lies about great pension schemes and all this. But one of the real issues is that the education system did not keep up with technology. And so governments have held on to the old education system, which was designed for an industrial age. Not only that, technology and AI has moved so fast that, as I said earlier, no large corporations will be coming into the country to employ thousands of people. And even if they did come into the country, they still wouldn't employ thousands of people. This leaves us with a little bit of a dilemma in our country, where we've got a lot of people trained in the old ways or educated in the old system and do not know how to shift into the new system, the new technology. So let's look at it from this perspective. We've got computers and Google, and we've got Instagram, and we've got Facebook, and we've got all this technology. We've got cell phones, and we can talk to people the other side of the world today. But none of us that were trained in the old education system know how to utilize all those things to maximum benefit. And therefore, we had to come up with a way to help the people of South Africa. We have roughly 32 million people in South Africa that are not earning a living. Yes, a lot of them are on social grants, but I don't know about you, but I know I could never live on one of those social grants. So we're also helping them. And so what we've done is we've developed a training program for people in communities that are unemployed, students that cannot pay their fees at university and are unemployed, students that have dropped out of school and so they don't have a school leaving certificate and they can't get employment, unemployed people, disabled people, and even people with low income jobs. Heck, anybody that wants to come along to our courses is more than welcome. Basically, you join the New Nation Education Company. And remember, our one objective is to raise sustainable funding for the education of the school children. So how the system works is we want people in the community to join us, but under the school that they would like to support in their community. This way we drive funding through the school. The training that we're providing these community members is training in the business of their choice. Now, a lot of us don't even know what we want to do. If somebody came up to you today and said to you, so if you had to go and start your own business, what would you do? Most of us don't know what the answer is. So we will take you through that process as well of how to figure out what type of business you'd like to be in. We'll help you then research that type of business within your community, because it's no good starting something in your community if no one in your community is going to utilize your service or product. We've got a list of more than 400 job types or career types that can be done from home, which means we don't have to talk about, oh, I need startup capital and I need this and this. This is a myth. A lot of people, so here's a question that somebody asked. Is it possible to have a startup home business with very little or no capital? Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a myth that you need a lot of money to start a business, and you need a computer, and you need a premises, and you need licensing. And so we will try and steer you best we can to make those or keep those expenses of starting a business at a minimum, at a minimum. And as you grow, you can go into all those other things you need. There's no need when you start a business to have a secretary, if you think about it. Let's say you were going to start a business, you were a motor mechanic and you're going to start your own business in your area. And you think to yourself, oh, when I'm busy working on the cars, I need somebody to answer the phone, so I'll have to hire a secretary. Now, there's many ways to do this, and we'll tell you all these things. Obviously, you could employ your own wife to do that, which means she wouldn't get a big salary, but she's living with you. And the more you make, the more you both benefit, right? If you didn't want your wife to do that, or she's employed somewhere else, you could find a social marketer, social networking marketer in your area who markets on social groups. So somebody that markets on Facebook, and you could get them to do marketing for you, which means they will take most of your calls for you, and they will be able to do that for you like a virtual assistant, which means they're not full-time, but they're handling that for you because they want you to pay them for every customer they bring you, which is not a bad way to work, right? You don't have this person that you're paying a salary to. And you can do this with most businesses. So the training and the opportunity we offer communities, and why I say we attach it to the school, is because we need a place to do the training, to deliver the training and help you. And so that would typically be a school hall or a community hall, if there's a community hall in your community. But also, we want to make sure that your children in your community get the best possible education, so that we break the poverty cycle with this next generation. We can no longer allow this to continue. We need young adults to be leaving school ready to work, start their own businesses, and become self-employed. And that way we can eradicate or reduce poverty in South Africa. Now, besides the training that we're offering to all people that join, we also have a commission-based program where our members can start earning a monthly commission. That means you can start earning money while you're learning. And that's why we said even people that are unemployed, students and school dropouts can join, because they can join and start earning a monthly commission while we're helping them start their own businesses. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, yeah, but there's nothing I can start in my community that people would be interested in. I want you to think of a community as a separate entity, as a little island. If you were living on an island, what services would the people on that island need? What services wouldn't they need that a big city on a mainland uses? There's not one. They would need every service. Okay? So they would need police. They would need soldiers. They would need hospitals. They would need people that do social media marketing. They would need people that do web development. They would need plumbers. They would need electricians. They would need mechanics. They would need bricklayers. And the list goes on and on. There's not a job that the island wouldn't need somebody to do. They need gardeners. They need domestic workers. So don't think about your community as part of the whole of the country. Think of your community as an island. And if this was an island and we didn't have any of the other services that are going on in our country, what service do I want to deliver to my community? Because remember, delivering a service within your community means you can deliver it at a better rate than somebody from outside could come. Because typically they would have to travel to the community to do the work, which means there would be more expenses. Okay, so where can people go for help and support on deciding what type of business they would like to start? Look, you can do you need to do research. There's a lot of stuff out there on Google. If you Google anything like that, it'll come up with lots of things. As I said, this is what we do as the New Nation Education nonprofit company. We help you figure out what type of business you want to be in, where your customers are at, why you want to be in that type of business, what sort of money you could make in that business, writing a business plan. We take you through everything. In fact, we have more than 10 different books that we take you through as workshops to help you understand and get your mind in the right place. Because we've all been badly indoctrinated over the years. We believe all sorts of nonsense and, silly things. Let's say like, oh, rich people are greedy. Well, here's the problem. If you would like to be rich, and think about it this way, how many people can you help if you're struggling? Very few. How many people can you help if you're wealthy? As many as you like. So when we talk about the rich and we think, oh, rich people are greedy because you've been indoctrinated like that, your parents or somebody said that to you, rich people hold on to all the money. And if you have that belief system, then unfortunately you could never become rich yourself. You see, your mind cannot accept two truths about the same thing. In other words, one being rich people are greedy, and the other is, okay, it's okay for me to be rich. But then you must believe that you're greedy. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And we go into all these sort of things in our training sessions. But the first thing that we focus on in our training sessions is actually our values-based leadership program, which is one of the programs the Key Leadership Institute have available here in South Africa. They are the distributors and owners of that material. And I have written contracts with them so we can use this to help people within communities develop their values. These are human values we're talking about. Things like respect, listening, and goal setting. And there are actually 48 of these, but we don't, in the New Nation Education will take you through 10 of them, which are very important. Things like restraint and respect, because we can only work together and collaborate if we understand, respect, and listen to each other. And so we need to go through these values. These values also teach us how to work in a group as a team, how to listen to each other, how to not be judgmental of each other, because there are a lot of people that want things, but some people are quiet. So they'll sit in a group and they won't say anything. And our group sessions allow these people to also give their opinion of what we've just read out in the group or whatever the discussion may be about. And so it helps people that are shy to become more self-confident. This is a key to succeeding in business. You know, I don't know about you, but if you go to a person comes along and says to you, um, can I design a website for you? And then you start asking them questions and they become shy and they don't want to speak because they don't really feel it's their place to speak and things like that. How confident would you be that that person could actually do the work for you? So self-confidence is a major booster in your own running your own business, becoming self-employed or becoming an entrepreneur. And these are all the things we offer you in our workshops. So I've got another question here is why do you believe that we start our business training with a values-based leadership program? And this is exactly why I was talking to you about this. Because at the end of the day, we're going to be working in groups. So typically there might be 5 people within the community that want to do, let's say, marketing, but one wants to do Facebook marketing, the other one wants to do social uh, Instagram marketing, and the other one wants to do Google marketing, for instance, and therefore those people would all be in the same group because most of the stuff they're going to learn is common to them. They all want to do marketing, right? And so we will obviously be working in groups, and in the groups we need to be able to communicate with each other, share ideas, tell each other, oh, I've got this problem, I started my business last week and I don't know quite how to do this or how to do that. And then we help each other. And obviously those groups live in your community, which means you can communicate with them every single day if you need to. And in fact, we recommend that as a group you get onto your team, which could be a WhatsApp group within your community, and you could call yourself the A team, for instance, and the A team could say 8 o'clock every morning, we're going to have our business meeting, and therefore you get on WhatsApp and you guys chat about different issues and problems. So we're there to help in every way possible. And in fact, once you're running your business, we'll be there to help hold your hand to make sure that you don't fail in that business. We have to do this because we need to create employment in South Africa. We are sitting on the cliff edge. And the only way to get away from the cliff edge is to make sure that the 32 million people in South Africa that have not got a monthly income start earning a monthly income. We are here to help you. So, as I said, the important thing to remember here is that employment will get more and more scarce as the jobs that we know today start becoming obsolete. As we all know, many of the jobs that we had in the past have all become obsolete because of technology and AI and manufacturing processes and different things that happen. So if the jobs are getting less, that means we're even going to take more strain, more and more people will become unemployed. And therefore, it's imperative that we learn how to become self-employed business owners and entrepreneurs. The beauty about this is, as a self-employed person, you can contract yourself out to 10 business owners. You don't have to be employed by one person. The other thing to remember is that if you lose one contract out of 10, you can still survive. If you were employed by one company and you had a salary and you lost your job, all of a sudden you've got no income. So don't think of it as being difficult or hard. It's actually a lot better. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. Let's put it this way: it's simple, but it's not easy. There's a lot of work. There is no magic wand. There is no overnight business opportunity. This will take you as long as it takes you. So if we consider, if you got employed tomorrow in a company doing something that you hadn't done before, so you were starting at the bottom, to get the experience you need in that specific skill so that you could go to another company and say, I'm a qualified, let's say electrician. I'm a qualified electrician, and get the salary of a qualified electrician, you would need at least 4 years experience. And this, starting your own business, becoming self-employed, is no different. Yes, you can speed up the process. Of course you can, because you can work on yourself 16 hours a day. Whereas when you go to the job and you work for somebody else, you work 8 hours a day. So you can speed the process up, which means you could do it in 2 years if you're that way inclined. The beauty of it is that you can also earn money while you're learning. So that would relieve some of the pressure on you, because we all need to live, right? We all need to buy groceries and pay for electricity and cell phones and whatever we have. So if we're continuously learning 16 hours a day, we're not making money. And that is why we give you the opportunity through the New Nation Education to start earning a monthly commission-based income. And we can talk more about that in a later webinar. And so next week, we're going to be talking about a couple of the other issues in South Africa. Let me just find my notes here. Because so many of these things overlap, I don't want to do them too close together. So we'll talk about poverty next week, and why we have so many people in poverty in South Africa. It's sad, and you know, we could blame people, but we could blame anybody you like. We could blame the government. We could blame the apartheid. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. What's going to happen and change things is what we do now. So let's focus on what we can do. Let's not focus on all the things that have been done wrong in the country. We know what they are. Let's focus on the solutions. And I hope that my talk here tonight has helped you to understand that it's time to move on and step up into the new age of technology. There are 8 billion people on the planet. And as I said earlier, okay, we're going to market within your community and keep it tight, because every community needs all these different experiences or types of employees. But once you get it rolling, if your type of business is online, then of course you can sell it to the rest of the world. You don't have to stick to your community, but let's get to the point where you're making enough money, and so that you can spend on marketing. Because once you spend on marketing outside your community, the cost, of course, can be very high. So thank you very much for coming along this evening, and we'll chat next week, Wednesday evening, 7 p.m., same place, same time. Thank you. Bye.